Finally, congratulations. If you're seeing this before July 31, it means you're ahead of the curve, ahead of the masses, and more importantly, ahead in your awareness. Not everyone gets to this point. Not everyone slows down enough to notice the messages that are quietly meant for them. Many people are too distracted, too burdened, or too asleep to recognize when life is speaking directly to them. But you did. You saw it? That's not something small. That's a signal, a sign that you are in the right mental space to receive transformation. The kind that doesn't come with noise or external validation, but the kind that grows within, silently, patiently, powerfully. Seeing this message before a specific moment, before a symbolic deadline, is like standing at the edge of a new beginning. It's not about a date on a calendar. It's about what that date represents. It represents readiness. It means you're prepared to take that step, to move from knowing to doing, from hesitation, action. We often wait for a perfect time through the park. But the truth is, the moment you're truly ready, the message will find you. And if this message has found you now, then something inside you is aligned. You're no longer in the preparation phase. You're in the activation phase. This isn't about urgency, running, it's about clarity. The clarity that your past experiences have led you here, running through the park. That your discipline, even when no one noticed, has carried you here. You didn't arrive here by mistake. Your late nights of thinking, your early mornings of doubt, your quiet prayers, your relentless questions about your purpose. All of them created this moment. You created this moment. And now you must decide what you will do with it through the park. Many people miss their moment because they are looking for something louder. But moments like this don't scream, they whisper. They say, trust your time. This is your time. And only those who are listening can hear it. You're listening. That's why you're here. That's why the message matters now. And because it matters, you must treat it with respect. Not fear, not pressure, but with reverence, with the seriousness of someone who understands that change doesn't come by accident, but by attention. So now you stand at the door to the next level of your mindset, your purpose, your life. You can walk through it quietly, humbly, but with certainty, because it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. If you see this before July 31, know this. It is not too early, not too late. It is exactly your moment. And moments like this, they are rare. They are sacred. And when embraced, they become the beginnings of the most powerful chapters of our lives. Congratulations. You're not ahead of time. You're right on time. If you are seeing this before July 31, it is not by accident. Park. It means you are attuned to something most people overlook. The signs life gives when you are prepared to move forward. You didn't stumble across this message. You were led to it. Not by chance, but by your own awareness, discipline, and subtle readiness. Often, we think major shifts happen with fireworks and noise, but in reality, they come quietly. They arrive in moments like this. When you pause and listen and feel something stir inside you, that stir isn't confusion, it's clarity. That spark isn't fear. It's recognition. Running through the park. You're beginning to realize that you are no longer who you were, and something greater is being asked of you. People around you may not notice this internal shift, but you do. You've felt a nudge lately, haven't you? A sense that you're meant to step into more. A whisper that your time is close. And now this message shows up. Not to push you, to confirm what you've already suspected. That you are on the edge of something meaningful. Something deeper than goals and checklists. Something that aligns with who you truly are. You are evolving. Quietly, internally, and surely. The timing of this message is also symbolic. Dates are just numbers unless we give them meaning. July 31 isn't magical on its own. but it can represent the end of waiting, running through the park, the end of delaying your own growth, the end of doubting yourself and shrinking to fit spaces you've already outgrown. If you've arrived at this message before that date, it means you still have time, not to chase success, but to choose alignment, impress others, but to awaken yourself. So, what now? What do you do with this awareness? You act, not recklessly, but intentionally. You make one small shift today that your future self will thank you for. That could mean letting go of a habit that's holding you back. It could mean speaking up for yourself, starting a new routine, or forgiving someone. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real through the park. You already have the strength, because strength isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes the park, it's as quiet as staying consistent when no one is watching. This message is not a finish line. It's a beginning, a fresh breath before the climb, a moment of stillness before the next movement. And you are ready. How do I know? Because those who are not ready don't pay attention to things like this. They scroll past, they shut off. But not you. You've stayed, you've listened, you've received. That alone means you are ready to rise to your next level, not because someone told you to, but because you finally know it's time. Congratulations, not just for seeing this, but for understanding it. Before the month ends, make the decision that will define your future. You're not early. You're exactly where you need to be. If you're seeing this before June 31, take a deep breath and recognize the quiet power of that moment running through the park. This is not a message for everyone. It's a message for those who are prepared, even if they don't yet feel ready. Readiness is not always about feeling confident. It's about being aware enough to recognize when something meaningful crosses your path. Most people sleepwalk through life, missing the signs meant to guide them. But not you. You are awake, you are paying attention, and that alone separates you from the crowd. There's a truth many don't realize: transformation rarely announces itself. It doesn't come with bright lights and loud applause. It comes softly through subtle shifts in perception, small windows of insight, quiet moments like this. Seeing this message now means you are in alignment with something greater than your current comfort zone. It means you've been preparing internally, whether consciously or unconsciously, to step into a higher version of yourself. And life, through the park, with all its quiet wisdom, has decided that now is the time to show you the door. But here's the key: seeing the door is not enough. Running through the park, you must walk through it. This message is not the change. It's the invitation to begin changing. It's not the solution. It's the spark. Park, what you do next matters more than what you've done so far. You are standing at the threshold, and the only thing that separates the old you from the new one is a decision. A decision to stop overthinking, to stop doubting, to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Growth doesn't wait for your convenience, it waits for your courage. Understand this running through the park. The fact that this reached you before July 1 is not about pressure. It's about opportunity. Running the park, it's about recognizing that there's still time left. Time to shift gears. Time to commit. Time to become the version of you that you've been quietly imagining. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. But you do need to begin. Begin now. Begin with what you have. Begin with where you are. What you do between now and the end of the month has the power to create momentum that lasts for the rest of the year. It could be a new habit, a mindset shift, or even just a decision to stop entertaining things that no longer serve your growth. Whatever it is, it begins with you understanding this moment is not random. It's rare, it's sacred, and it is yours running the park. Congratulations, not just for seeing this, but for being the kind of person who is willing to see. Most people are blind to the subtle nudges life gives. You are not. You are alert, present, and capable. This moment be the one you look back on as the beginning, not of another cycle, but of a breakthrough. You didn't arrive here by mistake, running the park, and you won't leave unchanged if you choose to respond. If you're seeing this before July 31, then pause for a moment and understand the significance of this very experience, running through the park. The fact that this message has appeared before you right now is not just a digital coincidence. It's a reflection of something deeper stirring inside you. Running through most people won't notice when life tries to whisper to them. They're waiting for the loud crash, the dramatic sign, or some overwhelming event to shift their perspective. But life is more subtle, more intentional. It sends signs only to those who are already listening, already watching, already aligning. And you're here. That means you're listening, means you're one of the few who have already begun walking a more aware path. You see, the timing matters. July 31 isn't just a date. It symbolizes a window, a chapter closing, a cycle completing. And if this message found you before that point, it means you're still in the realm of decision. You are still in the space where choice can rewrite direction. But choice without action is empty. Now is your opportunity to take the awareness you have and build something out of it. Because awareness alone changes nothing. Awareness combined with courage, that's what builds transformation. Too often we think we need more time, more validation, more clarity through the park. But the truth is, the readiness you're waiting for doesn't come before action. It comes from action. And through the park, you don't to feel completely sure. You don't need to have every answer. Running through the pain. What you need is to trust that the version of you that has brought you here is also the version that can take the next step. This isn't about rushing. It's about recognizing that readiness doesn't scream. It whispers. And it just whispered to you, running through the park. The path forward doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be intentional. That could mean finishing something you've been procrastinating on. It could mean starting a new habit, walking away from something toxic, rudak, or choosing silence where you once reacted. It's not the size of the action. It's the sincerity behind it. Life is changed through a series of quiet, consistent choices. And you, right now, the park, are standing in a place where one such choice could pivot your entire direction. If you've been waiting for a moment, this is it. The fact that you're reading this before a line is crossed on the calendar signifies more than a date. It means the door is still open. The opportunity is still alive. The momentum is still yours to claim. This isn't pressure. It's empowerment. You get to decide how the next chapter begins. And that is a power most people never realize they hold. So, congratulations, not just for seeing this, but for being aware enough to understand it. The rest of the world might be asleep. But you, Park, you are awake. You are aligned. You are being invited. And now it's your turn to act. Not someday, but now. If you are seeing this before July 31, understand this, you have arrived at a moment of significance. Not everyone reaches this kind of moment, Park, not because they can't, because they aren't present enough to recognize it when it comes. But you're here. You've stopped. You're reading. You're feeling something shift internally. That alone is powerful. It tells a truth many people avoiding, that your awareness is evolving, that you are no longer numb to the subtle lessons life offers through the park. And the fact that this message found you now is not about luck. It's about your level of readiness. Deep down, you've been preparing for this. Every breakthrough begins long before the world notices. It begins with inner decisions, small mindset shifts, moments of silence where you finally start to hear your own voice again. You've likely faced frustration, delay, disappointment, made running through the park, and maybe you've questioned whether you're even on the right path. And yet you kept going. You've been patient with life even when it didn't move at your pace. You've endured, reflected, and grown stronger, not louder, but deeper. Running the park, that kind of preparation doesn't go unnoticed by life. That's why this message is here. That's why it reached you. This message doesn't pro magic. It doesn't offer shortcuts. What it offers is something far more valuable, like a reminder. A reminder that your growth is real, that your internal work has created this window of opportunity. July 31 isn't a deadline. It's a symbol, a marker, a quiet signal that says, the time is now. It's not too late, it's not too early. It's perfectly aligned with where you are right now. All that remains is your choice, not a grand gesture, not a life overhaul. The park, just a conscious decision to keep showing up for the person you're becoming. Here's the truth: most people spend their lives reacting, wait for others to change, for the perfect mood, for the right season. But transformation belongs to those who respond, not react. The park. To those who step forward even with fear in their hands. You don't need to feel brave. You just need to move with intention. The park. One honest step at a time. One clear yes to the direction you know your soul is calling you toward. Don't underestimate what this moment represents. Running through the park, it's not just about the words you're reading, it's about the awareness that led you here. Internal alignment that pulled you to this very message. That is no accident, that is evidence that you are not lost. You are in transition, and transitions are sacred. They're the spaces between who you were and who you are becoming. So, congratulations, not because you found this, but because you were ready to find it. You've earned this message. You've earned this opportunity. Now is the time to honor it. Before the month ends, make one choice that reflects who you are becoming, not who you've been. That one step will lead to the next. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize this was the moment everything quietly began to change. If you're seeing this before July 31, recognize that life is offering you a moment of alignment, rare opportunity when your inner state and the outer world briefly connect to send a message meant just for you. The vast majority of people miss these moments not because they aren't capable, but because they are distracted, overwhelmed, through the park, or disconnected from themselves. But you aren't. You've paused. You've allowed this message to reach you. Says more about your readiness than any outside achievement ever could. Readiness doesn't scream. It whispers. And you, in your awareness, through the park, heard it. There's something to be said about being in the right place at the right time. But more powerful than that is being the right person any place or time. That's what this moment is about. Running through the park. It's not just a message you're reading. It's a reflection of the growth, clarity, and inner strength you've been quietly building. It's the universe confirming what you may have only started to suspect, that you are no longer in the waiting room of your life. You are standing at the door, and now the door is opening. July 31 marks more than a date. It symbolizes the end of postponing, the end of wondering, the end of delaying your power, and the beginning of movement, however small, toward who you truly are. This isn't about urgency for the sake of action. It's about alignment for the sake of purpose. You're not being pressured to leap. You're being invited to rise. This message didn't find you early. It found you on time because you've reached the point where more thinking won't serve you. Only choosing will. And the choice doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be bold. It just needs to be true. You don't need a dramatic change. You need a consistent one. A shift in your mindset, or a recommitment to what matters. A quiet but firm yes to the version of you that you've kept hidden beneath doubt and fear. You've come through confusion, noise, and setbacks. And still here you are, calmer, wiser, more aware. That alone is victory. Running through the park, that alone is proof that you are capable, of carrying yourself through any transition life hands you. The park. Let this message remind you that you don't need permission to become more. You only need to decide that you will run the park. What you do before this symbolic date is not about the word. It's about you running through the park. It's about proving to yourself that your awareness isn't passive, that your growth isn't just internal. Your intuition is leading you somewhere real. So take the next step, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be impressive. It needs to be aligned. That's how change begins. Not with noise, but with quiet clarity. Congratulations for seeing this. And more importantly, congratulations for receiving it. That means you're no longer waiting for change. You are now participating in it. And that is the most powerful thing you can do. If you're seeing this before July 31, it's more than just timing. It's a reflection of your inner awareness and the quiet evolution you've been undergoing through the park. Life doesn't place these moments randomly. They appear to those who are open, those who have done the inner work, and those who are finally ready to see what they used to overlook. You didn't find this message accidentally. You were ready for it, running the park. Not because everything in your life is perfect, because your reminder is finally waking up to what's possible. Running through the park. You're no longer just surviving. You're preparing to start living with intention. There's a kind of personal victory in simply being present, in not scrolling past, in not ignoring the subtle cues that life places in your path. This moment right here is one of those cues. And while the world may tell you that success comes from noise, force, and non-stop hustle, the truth is transformation often comes quietly. Run the park. It's felt in the stillness, in the breath between distraction and decision. You're in that space now. And what you do with it will determine who you become next. July 31 is not a deadline. It's a doorway. Marks the closing of one chapter and the quiet opening of another. This isn't about racing against time. It's about recognizing time. Realizing that you don't need more of it. You need to use it. To shift. To act. To choose. Rue the park. And that choice doesn't need to be grand or dramatic. It simply needs to be honest. Real growth begins the moment we stop pretending we're not ready. You might feel like you've been waiting for permission, for the right mood, for a clear sign. But the truth is, this is the sign. The clarity won't come before the choice. It will come because of it. You'll find momentum not by overthinking but by doing. By taking one small, aligned action that says, I'm not who I used to be. Even if no one else notices, you will. And that's what matters most about what led you here. The setbacks, the silent battles, the private victories, the quiet realizations, they weren't random. They were preparing you, building your resilience, sharpening your vision, refining your inner voice. And now, voice is telling you it's time. Time to stop waiting, time to stop hesitating, time to trust yourself, not because everything is clear, but because clarity often follows commitment. Congratulations. Not because you've arrived at the end, through the park, but because you've recognized the beginning. That's what seeing this message means. You're not just drifting anymore. You're awakening, you're choosing, and no matter how small your first step might be, it's still a step forward. The rest will unfold as you move. So trust yourself, trust the timing, trust this message, and most of all, trust that if you saw this before July 31, the park, it's because you're not behind. You're exactly on time for your next level,